Encounter is brought to you by the Broome County Council of Churches, where we connect compassion with needs as we inspire growth with dignity. You'll find us in special places throughout the community. For those who remain hungry, we provide meals. For those who are challenged, we build wheelchair ramps. We comfort those who are ill, minister to those who are confined, and we remain an advocate for change and understanding on behalf of every element of our community. Connect and inspire. Encounter the Broome County Council of Churches.
Good morning and welcome to Encounter, sponsored by the Broome County Council of Churches. First, I'd like to say I hope everybody had a very enjoyable Christmas, and I hope you did put Christ in your Christmas this last week.
Amen, yeah.
Today, I'm very fortunate to have two gentlemen here, Reverend Tom Easttey, who is the new pastor at Boulevard United Methodist Church.
Good morning.
And then Michael Chef Haynes.
Good morning.
And then I was going through the newsletter. First outreach coordinator, lay leader, and then of course the head chef for your community dinner and Saturday Night Alive dinners.
Right. Plus
the head chef for Sarah Jane Johnson Church.
Yes, sir.
And of course, probably one of the nicest things is the 2013 recipient of the Points of Light Award. And you have stuff, we're going to get into that, from George Bush. So.
Yep, I'm number 5,004 of the Points of Light.
Okay.
Wow.
There are actually 4 people in Binghamton, I believe, that are Points of Light.
That's good. So
Pretty
we'll
good.
kind of get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
But Tom, I hope you don't mind, I'll call you Tom.
Quite all right, Dave.
First, tell us a little bit about yourself, so people can kind of know a little bit about you.
Well, I'm originally from Boston and lived there until the mid-'80s, and then was called in the ministry in about '86 and went out to Methodist Theological School in Delaware, Ohio, and became an ordained elder in the United Methodist Church in '92 to '94, and served for 12 years out there until 2000. And then from 2000 to 2013 served at Waterloo United Methodist Church and came here in July of 2013.
Okay, now I was told to ask you a little bit about why I know that the bishop has a saying coming down here, but maybe there's a little more going on.
Well, Michael likes to talk about the spiritual aspect of it. We were in Waterloo for about 13 years, and one day last year, my son was sitting in our cellar on his computer, and all of a sudden he heard this loud crash, and come to find out the foundation around the parsonage had split at the 4-foot level all the way around because of a water buildup in clay, and the clay had expanded. It was an incredibly wet fall. I think it was October and November of last year, and all of a sudden it had cracked and had pushed, buckled the wall and pushed a bookcase over and slammed all the books onto the floor. Subsequent to that, it cost about $48,000 to fix that, and then the church found out it needed roof assistance, and so they said, well, the one thing we need to do is we're going to change you. And so I got transferred to here. And after 14 years, so that was the joke. And not that was solely it, and I hope there's nobody from Waterloo watching.
Well, we'll have to put the word out for them.
Yeah, they'll probably all get it on YouTube now to check it out. But yeah, so that was kind of the tongue-in-cheek behind it. A lot of other, like you said, a lot of other Episcopal reasons and everything, but that's kind of the part of the story I like to tell, because I think that's more the truth than anything else.
God works in mysterious
Very
ways
much
to
so,
send us what Boulevard needed at this point in time.
Right. So here I
you've
am.
been here
Since July.
So 6 months. You're getting accustomed to
everything.
I mean, I guess our weather's not quite as bad as it was in Waterloo, but
it's different, but it's about the same. You know, we got a lot of lake effect rain and snow in Waterloo because of the Finger Lakes, but down here it's because of the southern tier. That's a whole different weather pattern down here. So what we get in Finger Lakes, you don't necessarily get here. It's like what Buffalo gets.
Right.
You know, you don't get here, nor does the Finger Lakes either. But my relatives will call up and they'll say, 7 feet of snow in Buffalo. What'd you get? And I go, nothing. And they go, oh, and they don't understand that. So that's the same kind of analogy.
Now, you've been there at Boulevard. You've gotten your feet wet, so
literally.
More ways than one probably. What are your whole thoughts about the future, what you'd like to see?
Yeah, well, what Boulevard does is they do a really hands-on ministry based on Matthew 25, kind of the sheep and goats, and they feed the hungry and clothe the poor, and we visit those in prison, and they really do the social gospel really well. So my wife and I really like to do hands-on ministry, so we set up tables and chairs and break them down, and just do what needs to be done. And we really like that.
That's good.
Yeah, we've been in a lot of other churches, and this is the first time we've really done that. We were in a church that we fell in love and got married kind of around that kind of church, and Boulevard is literally all the way back to Holbrook United Methodist Church back in the 80s. So we've kind of come full cycle, and we're really enjoying that part of it. Mm-hmm.
Now, kind of share with us the format for worship that you have when you have Sunday school. And
we
the
have
type of worship service that you do have there, too.
Worship's at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's a traditional service with hymns, and we have an anthem. We have a choir director now, and Sunday school is every other week, and it's at 9:30. And then on the weeks we don't have Sunday school, we have coffee hour at 12 o'clock afterwards. And so we're really focusing on having a traditional service, and then looking to the Lord in the year 2015 and 2016 about what will we do new and different. But really just focusing on just honing in on that, and it's been very fruitful and very productive. Yeah.
Well, I've noticed, like I said, I had a chance to pick up the Beacon for November, and there is tons of activities going on at the church.
It's a very busy church, very active, in a very good way,
One of the things that he did forget to mention for our Sunday service is his wife has instilled a children's church.
Right.
After children's sermon,
They
all go downstairs for a children's church and discuss what the Bible is teaching us that day.
Right, yeah, and she's done that. So we have Sunday school, and then every week we have children's church after the children's message. So, and that's been good. So there's been a lot of vitality. I've always say when you bring children into the life of the church, you bring families, and life comes back.
The church grows because of the children.
Exactly. So
you don't
that's
have
been
children,
happening.
you don't grow.
That's right.
Yeah,
you sit stagnant.
Yes, and that's really been good. And so we've just enjoyed it. We were having a lot of fun, and I think the church is having a lot. So even like last Sunday before church, there was what I call the buzz. Before anything starts, you can just hear that kind of excited energy, and it's just really good. You walk in, and people are just happy to see each other and to share what's been going on in the week and talk about what the Lord's doing in their lives.
Good.
So that's been really it's been good for everybody.
Yeah.
So through a cracked cement foundation, here we are, and it's good.
Michael.
Yes.
First off, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I grew up in this area,
Okay.
out in the country in Sanctuary Springs. I started out cooking almost 40 years ago in the restaurants, and I also worked in institutional cooking. And when I decided to start my faith journey, I found myself in the middle of the boulevard, and I had a kitchen thrown in my lap. Because the lady that was the cook there, she, her husband got a position as a minister. That was the Reverend Dean Maslin. So all of a sudden they're like, Michael, would you do this? And so I started doing it, and it's been close to 12 years that I've been doing this. And then Sarah Jane needed a cook, and Pastor Tony at that time said, well, maybe our chef will help you out. And I went over, and I liked it. I really enjoy this, helping to feed the people, and now be a soldier on the war on hunger.
That's to me, that's one of the biggest, I don't want to say, you come away with such a great feeling because you know what you've done, and you see these people come in. And
because you do the same thing.
So it makes you feel really good. And you're doing two different churches, and you're really seeing two different clientele.
They're blending in. Boulevard had really high numbers for a while. We were like 150 plus. Then when the floods happened, people got displaced. And we lost a lot of people. But they're eking their way back in again. Last Saturday we had our Christmas meal, and we fed 114 people.
That's great. Now, 2013, you won or was awarded Points of Life Award. I'll show you have a letter from President George Bush.
Yep.
And I don't know if they can actually see this, but you have a certificate that you received. Tell us, because I don't think a lot of people really know what the Points of Life is.
Well, President Bush started the Points of Light when he was in office. This is the first Bush. And it was people doing good for the community, the nation, or whatever. And he started, talking about, at that point in time, there was 1,000 points of light that he would always talk about.
Right.
And it was the lights in the world that would do good things to help others, and not worry about what will, be happening to them,
right.
And it was just, and I always respected him for that. And then all of a sudden one day I get a call that I had been nominated to be a point of light. And I had just seen where President Obama and President Bush were celebrating the number 5,000. Wow. And I thought, wow, that's really good. And he's got up to 5,000. And I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought somebody was pulling a joke on me and everything. And then I found out that it was for real, and I was actually quite touched by this.
So basically, no, you were awarded because of what you're doing.
The dinners that I do.
Right.
I donate a lot of my artwork at times to different causes, for fundraisers and things like that. So it was somebody here locally decided that I should be recognized for this.
Good. Okay. Now you said there was 2 or 3 other people in
There's
there?
like 4 others. There was myself and one other person was nominated and received at the same time. And then a little while later, 2 more people were nominated and received the awards also.
I kind of got online, was trying to research a little bit about it. There's so much information out there, but I was having a hard time finding out how people actually were nominated. Someone from the local community, I guess, sends a letter to...
They contact them and they give them a whole biography of what this particular person is doing for the community. And so then they sit and they decide and talk about it as to, this person is worthy of receiving the award. And it was like very touching to be considered worthy.
I'll tell you, people I know, you were definitely very deserving of this for everything you do. There's not many people that have dedicated their time to a church and to doing the meal thing that you have. Plus the work that you do up at the Council of Churches as far as helping, do things for providing meals and everything.
Well, I always say there by the grace of God go I, because I could be on the other side of that window. But because God watched over me and brought me through my darkest times, what else can I do but to do the work for Him and be one of His lights?
Now, you put the other hat on, being the chef.
Yes. This would be one of the normal ones.
Right. Exactly. Yes, I know that. I know that you're doing really 2 dinners. One on a Tuesday night.
And one every second and last Saturday of the month. And we also do a college meal once a month.
So I guess for a lot of people that are watching the show, they don't realize what goes into doing this. It's not like you go and just throw something in the pan, you put it out there to eat. So maybe I'd like to have you explain to people the whole process, because it's a big process to do something like this.
Well, first of all, things like this could not be done without Broom Bounty and the Council of Churches, because it cost a lot to do these, and they offset. So that's the start of the whole thing is, we are linked into Broom Bounty, and we get these order sheets that tell us what they have. So that gives us a chance to order what we can use. Will we get it all? maybe, maybe not,
Right.
but it gives us a basis. So then you've got to make your menu and see what you're going to work around. Have a spare thought in your head, because if you don't get the 40 pounds of chicken tenders, you've got to come up with something. You know, like last night I wound up doing chili dogs because there was no meat.
Right.
And the people were so happy with chili dogs. But so you become the hunter and the gatherer.
Right.
And you go out and you gather the food around, and then you have to take stock and figure out what you have to purchase. Then you, for me, I find drivers to drive me around to the different areas. Tom,
I do that
Pastor
too.
Tom
I
is
do
one.
that too, yeah.
Sarah Jane, I have 5 different drivers.
Right.
And at Boulevard, I have 4. And because I don't drive, and so then it's going and shopping, gathering the food, and then putting it all together. And with the help of a couple of sous chefs that I have, we make the food, and then I have a plethora of volunteers that come in and help to serve, clean up, you know, in the setup situation. And hopefully I also have some people that will go out and sit and talk to the people, because that's the ministry too, is to converse.
That's what we do.
You know, he runs around with his little pad of paper, and he's like, okay, what joys and concerns do you have today?
Right.
You know,
Just converse.
And that's
dialogue.
one of the biggest things. The people
Right.
that come to these dinners, they are in need of having someone come and either sitting down with them or asking them, what are your concerns? Is there something we can pray with you about? Because they just, they're lost souls, some of them.
Right.
For some of these people, I mean, they don't feel that they are worthy enough to go into a sanctuary, you know, or they just don't really care to. But this to them is their churching. They get a little, devotional, you know, and they're told that we care, you know, and everything. Sometimes, you know, you have to scold. You know, but I mean, I can get away with it because I spent a lot of years on the streets, you know, and a lot of these people know me, so I give the respect, and I can kind of bark sometimes if necessary to keep things under control.
He does that very well.
I've heard the barking, yes. Numerous times. When I mean, I think for the people that are watching or listening to the show, like Chef Michael and Tom here, we have set times to go to Broom Bounty, and Michael goes on Fridays, and I go on Fridays. He's at 9, I'm at 9:15. So we have this little thing where I try to get there sometimes earlier and get in, and then, you know, it's like, okay, why are you doing that? It's my time. And so we have a little banter back and forth, and it's, you know.
But it's built a good friendship.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
But, and I guess one of the other things, now last Friday when we were there, we met, both of us had a meeting with Mike Leahy, who is the director of Broom Bounty and Chow, and our two churches are actually going to become involved with the AmeriCorps workers that he has, which I think is going to be a really great thing for all of us, because hopefully, as he was saying, that these young ladies will come in and we'll have the same ones coming every week to our churches, and they'll get to know the people, they'll learn some of the different things, but it's something where I think we can get the word out and improve what we're doing, because you're going to have 2 people that come all the time, and they're going to get to know the people. And we find, I mean, at Endwell, because I'm a team leader one of the nights, and I go to all of the other dinners on Monday night, so you get to know the people, but you really need someone else sometimes coming in that's an outsider that can say, hey, you know, what can we do to help you, or can we get someone from health department or mental health that give them a card, or
exactly. I mean,
these
we
people,
handle
they're afraid to call. Nobody makes a phone call. I mean, I've told them, call 211. You know, they'll help you out, and you know, we
Same
can't do
here.
that. So I mean, we both go through this, so we know.
I always keep a list of all the other dinners, and even getting calls from like students who want to volunteer. You know, when you have more volunteers than you can handle, I just tell them, call the council. They will send you a list of the different kitchens. You can see any of them need help, setting up, tearing down, serving, whatever. And with the AmeriCorps, I mean, this will make it so that they're aware of what we're doing and aware of the need more than what you and I, as the cooks or whatever, do.
Right.
He feeds the soul, we feed the body, they will feed the needs.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, you know what?
You're really good at this. I'll tell you.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Now, Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
You're both part of that.
Yes. Yep.
Kind of share a little bit about that, when it is, what you do. No, it's open to anybody. It's usually a little ad, or I see a little blurb in the paper.
Yep.
But kind of tell us a little bit about that program at Boulevard.
Tell them about your little every other weekly opening. What you tell them, the rules.
Oh, the rules.
rules,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I have to give the rules. But first, I will say that Saturday Night Live is heading towards 20 years strong.
Wow.
It was started out as a ministry to attract like the students. We had a praise band at that time, and there was no actual food, it was snacks. And it has evolved over the years, and when it fell into my pocket, I turned it into a super kitchen rather than a soup kitchen. I don't like the term soup kitchen. You know the type of food that I work with and stuff. And it has been made to feed the need of the people. It's very strong into that. Every other week when we do this dinner, I do go out. And,
It's a standard opening, that's what I was talking about.
I raise my hand to get their attention. I say, may I have your attention, please? And then I say, good evening. And if they don't satisfy me with that, I say, come on, guys, really. Good evening. And then I get them to really rise, and I get them all. I'm the opening act for him, because he's going to come out and give the devotional. But, I give the rules. We have safe sanctuary, so please, go with your children to the bathroom. Don't let the children wander through the church. Be respectful of the people around you. You can eat as much as you would like to here, but please do not take any food past that door. Because it is against the rules and the regulations. And then I tell I have my volunteers be applauded, the bands if we have a band, and then I say, listen, for what it's worth, people, you are my family and I love you. And enjoy your meal, God bless you, and then I turn it over to Tom, who then...
Well, then what happens is everybody's at the ready. They're ready to serve, everybody's ready to be hungry, and then they're like, okay, now give them the gospel. So I try to give them the gospel miniature in 2 minutes. And just kind of give it, and sometimes it's mic'd, sometimes it isn't. So it's kind of like Jesus loves you, Jesus loves me, and Jesus sends us out to love everybody, and we're hungry, so bless this food to our bodies. May we become a blessing, and may God bless the world through us. And everybody goes, we'll maybe sing a little something, and then we'll say amen, and then by then, everybody's like, yeah, we're really hungry, So you got to keep it really short. You got to keep it really focused. You got to keep it really demonstrative, and then you got to just move them along. Because we feed the soul, and then we feed the stomach, and we feed community. And typically, I'll go through and talk to everybody. So then I'll just kind of announce what the joys and concerns are and summarize. And so,
They don't even realize that they've been ministered to
even for the hour before.
An hour before by Tom going around and talking to them and getting all the joys.
People don't, that's all part of it.
It's the whole thing. It's the whole kit. So it's a lot of covert operations. Covert love.
And then they come through me first.
Exactly.
To get the entree. And, I have rules. No cell phones, no iPods, no Game Boys. If you do that, you're going to go to the end of the line until you are done on the cell phone. But it's like, I've come to know most of them by name. And they like that factor that you recognize them. So I'm the first one that they see. I'm the first one to give them their food and everything like that. And it all goes very well. It's like a well-oiled machine at times. Sometimes parts break down. But on a whole, it is one of the smoothest running things.
Okay. Now, and I just going to throw this out so people are aware. We're running these dinners, but we have to meet Health Department from Broome County,
Yes.
their rules and regulations. We also have to meet rules and regulations that are set by Broome Bounty. And now the Elmira Food Bank has some rules and regulations. So we're all kind of, we follow all these things. And I know a lot of times I'll have people that are volunteering will say, we go to a restaurant, they don't do the stuff you're doing. And I said, no, but I said, you have to understand, we're under very strict rules and regulations, and that's the only way that allows us to get the food that you're eating.
Right.
And for most of us, you know, as a church, you can't afford to go out and buy all that food, so we really need to adhere to the rules and regulations so we get the free food.
Exactly.
And
on
restaurants and stuff are very generous to Broome Bounty. So.
Right, yes. On a general whole, though, I mean, everything, you know, after being in the business for as many years as I have, everything that Bounty and the Food Bank and the Health Department ask is common sense.
Right.
It's common sense sanitation and food handling and everything. So, you know, but just people don't see that.
Right.
You know, they don't see the waitresses wearing hairnets and gloves like we make our servers wear, you know, and stuff like that. But it's the proper thing.
Right.
It's not always complimentary to.
It's not always pretty. That's why I wear these
very
things.
Effective, yes, exactly.
I look ridiculous in one of those white marshmallow hairnets.
Right.
Well, you got to have hair first.
Exactly. Shh. They didn't know that.
You know, we got to have a little humor on the show
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
I guess as we're kind of winding down for the show, is there anything that either one of you just like to recap before
Well, we
we
want to
end?
invite everybody to Boulevard United Methodist Church on Sunday mornings at 11 and also at Saturday Night Alive at 5 o'clock on the second Saturday and the last Saturday. And also Sarah Jane, too.
Every Tuesday at 5:30.
At 5:30. But go ahead.
And if you're all out there shopping and you have a little extra change, buy some food and put it in a chow bucket.
Right.
If you're in the restaurants and you have extra stuff, please don't put it into the dumpster.
Very good, yep.
Send your stuff to Broome Bounty, because only that way can we fight the war on hunger. And the war on hunger here in our country is great.
Huge.
And it shouldn't be, but it is. So therefore we have to have ammo to be on the front lines to do what you and I do as the feeders.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for
Thank you
being
very
here
much.
today.
Thank you, sir.